Hello, welcome to Homemade Living with the Woodville Public Library. I'm branch manager Renee Dix, and this is our new virtual series featuring back to basics skills, a way of doing things like Grandpa and Grandma used to do, ways that can save you a little money or make things just so much easier, a fresher way of making a favorite recipe, or just because it'd be kind of fun to do this sort of thing. So today, just to kick off this series, we're going to do homemade pumpkin pie filling. Now, Halloween was just a couple days ago, so there are pumpkins everywhere. Whether you have some left over from your front porch or you need to stop by your favorite farm stand or greenhouse to pick up a pumpkin, this is the perfect time of year to do it. It's a very simple, easy process, which is what I love about it. And there's nothing like fresh pumpkin pie. Now, I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie, but done this way, I'll even need a second piece. So, what do you need? Like I said, pumpkin. And you're looking for a pumpkin that is fresh, is green, doesn't have any, is not green, doesn't have any blemishes, and is nice shape. You can use just about any kind of pumpkin you have, but the smaller ones, referred to as pie pumpkins, are a little bit better, but there's no reason you can't use the bigger ones. You want one that has not been carved, because once you've carved it, that allows for bacteria and insects to get in there a little easier. So, fresh pumpkin. And there's many different ways to do this. If you Google it, if you look on Pinterest, you can do it in your oven, you can do it in your grill, you can do it on your fire pit. I'm not gonna crank up the fire pit today because I've got chores in a little bit, but I am going to do it in the oven, and I'm going to do two different ways at the same time. I'm going to cut this pumpkin in half, but I'm going to do this one whole, okay? So for the whole pumpkin, I'm just going to set this one down for a moment. And I have to be kind of careful about what I'm doing over here because the goats are over there in the pasture about half a football field length away. And I swear those animals can smell pumpkins in the trunk of a vehicle half a mile down the road. So if they get wind of what I'm doing over here, they could jump the fence and come help me, and I hope not. But I will reward them if they're good boys. So for the whole pumpkin, I've washed and given it a good rinse off, make sure there's no dirt on it. And I'm just going to poke a few holes in it to vent it. That way it's not going to explode in my oven and create a big mess that I have to clean up. And this is a very satisfying thing to do. You're mad at somebody, grab a pumpkin and stab it a few times. Let some aggression out. So I've got about 6 holes in this one now, and that should be good. That's going to allow any excess steam to come out of the pumpkin. Okay. The other one, I'm going to cut in half. Now, you could cut this in half the long way or across. I'm not sure what's going to be easier. This might even end up in quarters, but we'll see. When you're doing this on a fire pit or on your grill, you might want to wrap it in foil just to keep it from burning too much, or just lay it directly on the grate if you're using. We have a grill set up for our fire pit with grates, so I would put a little olive oil on the edges just to keep it from frying too much, or you can set it on your grill like a cup and cook it that way. The darn brain fades. The goal is to make the flesh inside the pumpkin nice and soft and easy to scoop out. So I'm going to go ahead and try and cut this one the long way and see what happens. And I see my cat Ninja has shown up to help me, so this ought to be fun. Now this is going to make a lot of pumpkin pie filling, but that's okay because you can freeze it. And that way you'll have some for Christmas too if you like. So I'm gonna pop this open. Maybe. I guess I need to cut this end of it a little bit better. The stem gets in the way. And my table's kind of wobbly because I'm using our old, one of Brian's tables from his reenacting. And then I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to scoop out the seeds and the stringy stuff inside. Now you can take these seeds and roast them, and they make a great snack. I'm probably just going to feed these this time to the goats because they enjoy them more than I do. And it's a great, pumpkin seeds are a great dewormer for them. And I do my other part. Put them in the oven. I'm going to just put a layer of tinfoil down on my pan because I'm not quite sure how, if they're going to stick to the pan or not, and I want a little bit easier cleaning. I typically don't like to use a lot of foil. I'm trying to keep things a little simpler these days, but I'm going to make an exception in this case. So I got a little bit of the stem there on my pumpkin. I'm just going to lay these upside down. You want to preheat your oven to 375. And some people put a little bit of water in the pan to help steam the pumpkins. Just depends on which recipe you're following. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to put them upside down, put them in an oven that's been preheated to 375, and let them bake for about 45 minutes. So I'll see you when we have that part done. Now the pumpkins are fresh out of the oven, and you can see that the color has gotten darker, and that's one way to tell that they are done. And they're soft and smushy. Poke them easily. They're still very hot, so I need to be careful, but this is what they look like fresh out of the oven. Taken this pumpkin and just started scooping the insides out. This one I think I'm gonna have to put back in the oven for a few more minutes because it's not exactly the softest, but this one is nice and soft. So just clean all the flesh out of the pumpkin shell, puree it using your food processor, your blender, even your mixer. That'll work until it's a nice smooth consistency. And then you can either use it right away in your pumpkin pie, muffins, whatever your pumpkin roll, or you can put it in a mason jar and save it in the fridge for up to a week, or put it in plastic freezer bags and save it until you need it. About 2 cups is a good portion. If you freeze it, then you're going to need to probably drain some of the excess liquid off of it when it's defrosted to keep your recipe from getting too watery. And then just do it like you would, just use it like you would in the canned pumpkin, only this is fresh and it's homemade and it's going to taste just that much better. So thank you for joining us for Homemade Living, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks. Bye.